All right, I'm Jonathan Hale, Communication 2 student here at Springfield High School.
I'm Xavier Dusso, Communication 2 student here at Springfield High School.
And I'm Tim McMahon, Communication 3 student. No, I'm not. I don't go to school here. I'm your guest today.
That's right. All right, let's start this off. Tell us about BCAN and what you do on your shows.
Okay, so I host a show called One Nosh on BCAN. It's basically like a travel channel type show, sort of like Man vs. Food, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Not as much Anthony Bourdain as I'd like, because I'd love to travel the world. But basically what we do is like a travel channel type show, but we do it in Toledo. So I go to local restaurants, food events, interview chefs, and things of that nature. And we cut it into about 5-minute segments, 4 segments that are in a 30-minute show that airs, I believe, every third Sunday of the month on BCAN. And I should give a little bit of background on BCAN. So are you guys familiar with BCSN?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, most people are. Obviously, they cover local sports. They do, plenty of Springfield Blue Devil games and all the teams in the area. So about 3 years ago, Buckeye wanted to develop a network that was basically everything but sports. So we would focus on the arts. But arts is a pretty broad term. So we take that as music, food, literal arts like paintings and things of that nature. We do a lot of stuff with the art museum. We do stuff like with you guys. I mean, this is music. This wouldn't be considered like under the BCSN brand, so it fits under the BCAN brand. And so we do a lot of lifestyle type programs. So at BCAN, we have programming that airs on BCSN2 on Buckeye Cable. We might even need to write this down because there's so many different things. But it airs on BCSN2 Sunday nights, Monday nights, and then Wednesdays all day.
Awesome.
And we have a variety of programs on there, and we go out and do fun stories. And I think I got the best job there doing the food show because I get to eat everywhere. Where's your favorite place to eat in Toledo?
I'd have to give it to Rosie's Italian Grill.
I was just there last week.
Were you?
Mm-hmm. Restaurant week. They did some good stuff. Their hot mama bread.
Oh, give me a break.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
Can't.
My favorite place is it's that Mexican restaurant down on the docks. I don't know what El Vaquero maybe.
Yes. Yeah, that is a name. That is good.
Yeah.
We have a lot of good Mexican restaurants in Toledo. Cocina de Carlos is my personal favorite because I happen to know the owner, but he has 2 locations in Perrysburg and Waterville, and then Carlos Poco Loco downtown. San Marcos.
I was just about to say
San Marcos. I mean, that's
great.
phenomenal. I love street tacos, corn
Absolutely.
tortillas. But yeah, we have a lot of, I think, I'm from this area. I grew up in Rossford, and I live in Perrysburg now. So I've been here my whole life. And, we've always been like a chain capital, if you will, kind of like a test market. I know whenever Taco Bell has like a new taco, like Toledo is one of the test markets.
Yeah.
But there are so many great local chefs and local restaurants in this area. And that's my favorite part of doing the show is featuring those people. And we are getting up there as far as like really, really amazing food that can compete with like Chicago and New York, Detroit, Cleveland, some of these bigger cities in the Midwest. There are so many great places to go and great dives too. My favorite place to get pizza is at the Village Idiot.
Great place. Yeah.
So you can hear music too.
Yeah, great music
to
too,
tie it back into what
Yeah.
you guys do here. But the pizza's phenomenal there. So there's just a lot of great places. When people ask me what's the best place in Toledo, I'm like, well, we need to break it down into categories because
Right.
there are so many great places.
Did you ever do radio shows when you were in school?
In high school?
Yeah. Like, is there any sort of ability like this?
No, we didn't have anything like this. I mean, a lot of these programs sort of came along. I graduated in 2001. That's when I graduated high school, and we had morning announcements and video morning announcements, but we didn't have this type of technology. We didn't even have, digital wasn't a thing. Cell phones were not even, everybody even had cell phones. We didn't have social media apps and things like that. But we didn't have a studio like this. You would have to intern at a local radio station, and even then, that's, hit or miss to get into something like that. So this is kind of really revolutionary for this area to have something like this. And what I love about it is that you are taking this technology that's been around a long time, radio, but you're also incorporating the modern aspect too with the apps. So to have an app where you guys can be heard, all across the U.S. or even really all over the globe is very cool that you can kind of have that reach. And that's something that we didn't have. I didn't get into radio until I was into college. I worked for WFAL at BGSU, and I did a little bit of sports. And then my friends and we had a goofy show on Sunday nights, and we just did some stuff there. And then I worked for local radio stations here in Toledo. I did traffic reporting and DJing and things of that nature once I got sort of moving along in my career.
Nice.
And so that's sort of my experience in radio. This is my first time being on radio in a while.
Okay.
But it's fun. It's like putting on an old pair of pants. You know?
Right.
It just sort of fits. And there's something about that sound when you're in a radio station that's really cool. But I grew up on the music that you guys play because that's what my parents listened to.
Yeah.
So I really love having a station like this in Toledo area now, especially with like the deep cuts that you guys play. It's not just, the A side.
Exactly. Lots of B-sides.
Would you guys love to, and I don't know your technology capabilities, but to like play off of vinyl? Is that something that you're capable of doing?
Not yet. I mean, I know from experience, like it's not that hard, but we would be capable of doing it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting permission, all the technical aspects for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
Oh yeah.
But that's something I grew up listening to vinyl.
Yeah.
And then it goes away, and then it's cassettes and CD players and MP3 players and iPods and then iPhones, and then it's back to vinyl. Everybody wants to listen to it again.
It's back to cassettes now.
Exactly, yeah. Which is crazy. I can't imagine people would want to do that. But you're all about it?
I'm all about it.
Okay.
I collect cassettes.
That's awesome. I do think, I probably have a bunch I can unload on you from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I did get a vinyl record player, though, a couple years ago, and I kind of went back, and I got a lot of my parents' old albums, and I started buying some obviously new refurbished ones. We have Culture Clash in Toledo and Finders and
Allied
Bowling Green, Allied as well.
My favorite place in the world.
Yeah, so there's a lot of great places where you can get albums for 30 cents maybe even. But I love that sound and sort of,
it sounds incredible.
Just listening to that in the evening sometimes. So I kind of went back to it.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess that kind of leads into our next question. Do you have any favorite artists from the 50s or 60s?
It's going to sound like generic, because everybody pretty much loves them, but the Beatles, but I mean, that's kind of the main band that I grew up listening. You guys play a lot of their stuff, but a lot of their, again, deep cuts and stuff. So the Beatles, the Stones, I love the Dave Clark Five. I think they're underrated. I think, they never quite reached that level of popularity of the Beach Boys and the Beatles, but their music is very 60s rock, and it's just a great sound that I feel like without having a station like yours, they're the type of band that will get lost. People are always going to listen to the Beatles, no matter what. But they're a type of band that is great to hear on the radio again. You mentioned earlier before we got on the air, Xavier, The Doors. I love The Doors. The Who. I like some of like Motown music, like Four Tops and things like that. Frank Sinatra, a variety of things. I just love that era. Maybe end of 50s and then all of 60s. Early 50s can be a little slower.
Yeah,
for me,
slow.
Basically of
Dicey.
Elvis and stuff like that, which is great. Roy Orbison, which you mentioned, again before we were on air. I love Roy Orbison, so yeah, those are probably my favorite group. I give you 10 or 12, I think. Hard to narrow it down, but I mean the Beatles, you can always come back, and they're always really good.
You answered my question about your favorite artist.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get into contemporary stuff in a bit, but I wanted to ask in particular, how is Blue Devil Radio, in your opinion, different from other school-based radio stations you've seen, or just radio stations in general?
I'll do radio stations in general because I don't have a lot of experience of listening to school-based stations. Again, you guys are kind of a rarity. I mean, if there are other ones out there, I would love to hear them as well. But what I really like, and this isn't bashing commercial radio. It's not, because I was in it and I love being in it. But there's a structure that you have to follow. I love that you guys do artist profiles, that you're bringing sort of back the old school DJ that has been lost for years, instead of just someone that, I mean, you do voice track, but you guys are voice tracking something that's very interesting. And you take callers and you play them on the air, hey, I love listening to you guys and blah, blah, blah. I've heard all that. But I love the artist profiles because a lot of these people I know. I heard the Chubby Checker one the other day, which is great because I love the twist. And I was like, oh, I didn't know all that about Chubby Checker. And so it brings back maybe that old DJ feel of someone in the studio spinning records and giving you this information that's really cool. And it's not just about like, oh, this is sponsored by, or this is sponsored by, and blah, blah, blah. So I think you guys are some of the best DJs in the area because of that aspect. And because I can tell you that you're really interested in learning about these artists, or you may already even know about them, and doing your research and giving those neat facts that I think the audience really appreciates. I know I appreciate it. I listen on terrestrial radio, and then I have to switch over to the app when I reach a certain point where I'm driving, where to like pop in and out. But hey, that's like part of the business. I mean, the station's going to go out every once in a while.
Yep.
But that's why I'm glad you guys have the app, and no commercials too.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
No commercials. That's the
that's
best part
probably the most appealing part to a lot of people.
Because I'll hear you say, like, coming up, The Twist by Chubby Checker, and I'm thinking, oh, after the commercial break. And then I'm like, no,
right now.
Literally coming up right now. And, yeah, that's really cool that you don't have to do that. And the PSAs are great, too. I like listening to that. I like listening to your interviews with your teachers and other students. I just try to put myself back into high school and what it would be like to... I think the older you get, and, you know, I'm on TV and stuff, and I can take stuff for granted. I never let it get to my head, but sometimes it's like, oh, I'm on a camera, I'm editing a show. But I try to think of what it would be like in high school to be on a radio station that you can hear, and you can hear your friends driving around and stuff like that. And it's so cool that you have something like that, and that maybe you open your eyes to a new career or something in the music field or something like that.
The best part is walking into a random store or a bank or a restaurant and you hear your voice. And then, then you order some food and you're like, is that you on the radio?
It's very surreal. Or like,
it is. It's awesome.
Relatives and family members be like, oh, I hear you all the time on the radio. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's awesome.
Do you guys ever get then like free food if you're picking up like Wendy's or something? And they're like, oh, no. Hey, I'm on the radio.
I
Maybe
wish.
It's like,
I
no,
wish.
None of those perks.
That would be incredible.
I don't know if you could do that anyways.
No, probably
not.
Right.
Yeah. This is fun. Unload. What do you need? What do you want to hear?
What do I want to hear?
Let's get the deep cuts
of
my life.
Yes.
Okay, so what inspired you really to get on to go into radio and to like talk shows and communication and stuff?
I always liked entertaining and talking.
Okay.
And doing I really want to do voiceover work. I still do sometimes, like cartoons and things like that. It's a tough business to get into just to sort of make the connections. But I always liked just having conversations and talking. There's a lot of stuff I'm passionate about, but there was nothing that I really wanted to get into academically as far as like a career. And that's sort of what led me to that. Basically in college, I wanted to do something fun with my friends, and that's something that, hey, if I can get paid for it someday, like that's amazing. That's like the best thing in the world. So that's kind of what led me to doing stuff like that. I didn't really, like I said, I listened to a lot of this music when I was a kid and listened to DJs and stuff, and I think I would maybe like act that out. And same with like maybe watching shows like Saturday Night Live and stuff like that, and act a lot of things out. And that's sort of just all incorporated of just sort of like being in the entertainment industry and just like having fun. I love when people say like, oh, you have like the best job in the world. And it's a lot of hard work. There are days that I don't want to, be editing and things like that and staying super late, editing a show on a Saturday night, and it's got to be in the system for air on Sunday. I mean, that's a lot of hard work that you don't see that goes into it. It's not just going out and eating a bunch of food. I mean, that's the best part. But I am lucky to do what I do, and yeah, I think that's kind of just what led me into it. Is I wanted to have a career that I enjoyed every aspect of it, even the hard work that I put into it.
Awesome,
yeah. What would you consider your most intense passions besides your work in life, just in general, your most beloved passions?
That's a really good question, because I'm not a passionate person. No. I'm very passionate about family and friends, and just having connections with people. It's hard for me to see things where people are in trouble and I can kind of get overwhelmed sometimes feeling like I need to donate to every single like charity, which can sometimes feel like a burden. But I mean, just like people that are unfortunate or don't have the same privileges that I might have, someone who, if I feel like I want to guide them on a path to maybe, you know, just keep working hard. And sometimes things don't work out. Like I worked really hard to get to where I am, but luck plays a factor too, and just being in the right place at the right time. So that's kind of what I'm passionate about, is just sort of seeing people grow and nonprofits and things like that. I'm being very generic, but that's kind of just how I am. You know, I see things and I read about a lot of stuff, whether it's like Alzheimer's Association or like the Race for the Cure and things like that, and just anything I can do to sort of to give back and to help people. I'm very passionate as far as like interests and stuff. I'm doing improv classes right now with Glass City Improv. I play basketball and I run and I exercise and I do things like that. I love movies. I love like independent movies, but I also love like blockbusters and things like that. I really love stuff that you can tell that's like really smart, where like the writers really, how do I put it? That makes you feel something.
Yeah.
Sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Relatable, but also like great dialogue in a movie or something like that,
Oh, yeah.
or a TV show. I mean, I'll watch garbage TV too, like reality shows and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not, trying to sound like someone that's like I'm stuck up or something like that. But I love, I guess you have an appreciation for people that put in the effort and put in the work, and they create something that's very relatable that can make people feel something. So those are, I guess, things that I'm passionate about, and I love to eat.
Yeah. Incredible.
Passionate about that, yeah.
Awesome.
And talking about food.
Yeah, of course. Awesome.
So I guess one more question is,
Yeah.
So you said you came into this area of work first for radio,
Mm-hmm.
and then you went over to broadcasting and behind the camera and in front of the camera stuff. So how did that? So what made the transition there?
I guess it was just an opportunity that was put in front of me. So I was DJing for a station around here for a few years, just part-time. And I was doing other side jobs too. I was a janitor at night. I mowed lawns. I did a little bit of everything, which isn't bashing any of that work in any way, because I think anybody that works hard and, can put food on the table, I mean, that's something to be admired. And so that's kind of what I was doing at the time. And then I had an opportunity to be a part-time replacement traffic reporter for NBC 24 in their morning show like 10 years ago. And I was like, okay. So I'd never been on TV before. Really never been on TV.
Right.
I'd done some TV work in college. And then from there, they had an opening for a weekend sports anchor. So I did that. I did part-time. Then I was full-time there for a year. The nature of the business, things happen. I didn't have that job anymore. I got into sort of lifestyle type videography, where I learned how to really do sort of more creative editing and not live news stuff, broadcast.
Yeah.
And then I was doing freelance stuff for BCSN on the weekends, doing sports reporting. Then BCAN opened, and I said, I know how I want to do this. I know I want to do this show. And I kept bugging them and bugging them and bugging them. And I had stuff by then that I could show them. Mm-hmm. And they knew me. And so I had that job, and now I'm a producer there. I do another show called Exposure, where we focus on local film and a variety of stories, like this with you guys, music in our schools, where we're doing a profile on you. So that's kind of the long story of how I led to it. It's just doors open, and then you take a chance to interview for that position, and it just leads there.
Right.
I don't know if I've ever had a job where I didn't know the people there, like where I went in cold.
Yeah.
Because I've just network and get to know people. And then it's like it pops up and they're like, oh, Tim's really good at this. They keep me in mind. And they're like, we'll give him, a shot at this. And then just having a good attitude. If you're difficult to work with, people aren't going to want to hire you.
Yeah.
I love the people I work with and the stuff that we do. It's a blast. And that's sort of how it led me from radio to here. And now, ironically, back to radio for this interview.
Right.
It's full circle.
Full circle.
Do you guys have any openings? I'd love to come in.
Yeah.
What do you pay?
Well, Well, it's free.
Oh, okay. Maybe you can buy me a pizza or something.
Yeah.
Pay me a pizza.
Or we get hot chocolate and bagels sometimes.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
You
always
can't
fun.
go wrong with hot chocolate and bagels.
It's always the
That's a
best.
good deal.
Yeah.
And we had this class in the morning, so it was like wake up, come to class, hot chocolates and bagels.
What's it like for you guys to be doing something like this? And do you hope to make a career out of it, or something in music, something in broadcast?
Yeah. So I really enjoy being on the radio. I enjoy expressing my voice, expressing my opinion or information that I've learned from research. But so we went on a field trip about, I'd say like a month ago, to the University of Toledo, where we learned about like all the communication and broadcasting stuff they do there. And that really changed my mind about college, and now I'm going to go there and major in communication and broadcasting.
Good for you.
Yeah, see where that takes me. So I'm excited.
That's exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that field trip also made me consider my opportunities, even though I'm not sure if college is the right choice still. It made me realize that eventually I do probably want to go, and that broadcast might be really fun, but I also want to go for philosophy. So it's kind of hard to choose. But in terms of
Why are you interested in philosophy?
I love reading. I've been reading philosophy and political science books for years, like freshman years when I began to really dig into philosophy, and it's changed my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah, big time.
That's really cool. What do you want to do with that? Do you know? Just be a philosopher?
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah,
I'm not
I know.
I think stuff like that's very interesting. That's one thing I've gotten into more is just reading. I when I was in high school, I just read the books that we were supposed to read.
Yeah.
Or don't tell anyone. Sometimes I didn't read them. I just read the back.
Yep.
I'm sure I'm not the only person that's ever done that. But now when you can actually like read for fun and read things that interest you,
it's incredible.
It is.
It's a whole new. It's a media that people don't understand of like the benefits of. Like there's no other way to get information the way you do from a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But just be a philosopher.
That's cool. That's great. What else do you guys do? What do you guys do for fun around this high school?
Around the high school.
Around the high school?
You guys involved in other activities or organizations?
Well, I played football.
Okay.
And
you seemed bigger when you walked in. I was like, I bet he played football or something.
I'm involved in a lot of sports. Right now we're doing track.
Okay.
I do shot and disc for them. But outside of high school, I'm really into me and Xavier skateboard together.
That's awesome.
Talk about it, yeah.
But I mean,
did you guys meet through the station?
No, we've
been
known
friends
each other. Yeah, for
elementary school,
yeah,
probably.
3rd grade.
Yeah.
So
oh my goodness.
Yeah, we were on the same basketball team.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of took off from there. Now we skate like every weekend, so it's awesome. And the radio station just helps everything.
Now you guys don't play basketball anymore, so I take it that didn't take off.
I never was an organized sports guy. I was forced.
Yeah.
That's why skateboard is incredible.
Yeah.
I remember one game in 3rd grade.
No, not
Xavier shot it in the wrong basket.
Been there. I've been there. I've done it.
But it was 3rd grade. I mean, you're a kid.
Yeah. I mean, the referees need to stop you at that point. Block the shot if they have to. Don't let that kid. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I can tell it still scars you.
It still scars me to this day.
Skateboarding, I respect that. That's something I tried when I was a kid because I liked The Simpsons, and I thought, I can do that. And and I just couldn't.
You just have to be disciplined.
I'm horrible on rollerblades. I'm horrible on skates. I'm not the best at balancing and things like that.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I'm trying yoga, which is very tough.
Nice.
Well, that'll get your balance going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we started last year. We're not the best, but
skateboarding.
Yeah,
right.
It's fun. We're going to wrap it up here. So thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Tune in to BCAN. I'm going to do a plug now because I'm here. You know what? Next time if we do this, let's do it like Hot Ones. You guys watch Hot Ones?
I love
the Hot Wings.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We'll do that. We did something like that with our station. A bunch of us sat down and ate hot wings, and that was a good time.
It
was a good time, but it was kind of uncomfortable.
That sounds incredible.
But we are on channel 109 and 609 on Buckeye Broadband, and we have an app, and you can see us on Facebook. We have a YouTube page. You can see One Nosh and Rise Up and Arts Now and a lot of our programs on those different platforms. So check us out.
Awesome.
Follow me on my food adventures. Yeah. And my Instagram, I'm going to plug that, Table 4 Tim with the number 4. So you'll see pictures
Awesome.
We'll probably have pictures from this on there.
Sweet.
Give you a follow.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Tim.
you.
I'm Jonathan Hale.
I'm Xavier Dusso.
Everybody have a great day.